Hi, students. So this is for those of you who missed the box it for the science and design and math lesson. And for those of you maybe who weren't here, or if you would like to just watch this again to give you some more information and to help you figure out your three-dimensional shape and its dimensions of what it's going to be, and also the surface area that it's going to take on. So what we need to first do is everybody needs to add the box it classroom, and that code is right here. So go ahead and pause the video and add this classroom. Once you've done that, you can go ahead on the classroom on the main stream. You can open up this presentation for yourself, and it looks like this. So what you need to have finished before you come back from the Christmas break, before Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., Tuesday, January 9th, okay, what you have to have finished is 4 slides. The first slide is you need to add the data from your science lesson that you did with Mr. Story. You need to add this into your presentation. So all the data, just jot it down here so that's all in one place, so that when you work and design with Miss Siddall, you have everything in one place. Now, the other thing you need to do is you need to complete these 3 slides. First one is thinking about the volume and the 3-dimensional shape and your dimensions of your product, making a sketch of your final package, a 3-dimensional package, and making a surface area net of your final package. Okay, now these are just kind of the beginnings of your rapid design project, and you will add more to this later. So don't worry if it's not totally perfect. We're going to do some approximations to find the approximate volume of our shape and of our food now, and how much we would need for 200 grams. So let's start. Okay, let's start. So first you need to think about how many grams does my current amount weigh. So most of you, it's 25 grams. And you need to think about making a package for 200 grams. Okay, so for those of you who have 25 grams still, that's great. Basically, you can think about a scale factor of multiplying by 8. Okay, for those of you who have 25 grams. For those of you who do not have 25 grams, you need to think about how many grams do I have. You need to weigh it somehow. Now, there's a scale in my classroom and there's a scale in the science lab. If you think you burned about half of it, then you would do 12.5. You can also kind of approximate this, but it's better if you can do the exact amount out of 200 grams. Okay. And then for you, if you have a different amount, not 25, if you have a different amount, different weight, you need to think about what is my scale factor going to be, okay? All right, so if you have a solid food like a cracker or something like this that has a specific shape, okay, that's either square or circular, if it takes on a certain shape, that's gonna be a little bit easier to measure, because all you really have to do is measure the width and measure the length of that cracker or that shape. Okay, so maybe it's 5 by 10, and then measure the current height of that cracker. Okay, so how tall is that cracker currently? All right, the current height. And let's say your cracker is just 1 centimeter high. So let's say if this were the cracker, if it was just 1 centimeter. If your scale factor is 8, then you need to multiply your height by 8 if you would like to make a rectangular prism. Now, the project really depends upon which kind of shape you would like. So as I've posted in the box it classroom, there are lots and lots and lots of different volumes that you could take on and different shapes that you could decide upon. The little bit easier shapes would be a rectangular prism or a cuboid or a cube or a cylinder. But if you want to do something more difficult, there are some areas down here. And I can work with you on that individually when we get back from the break. Okay. So first you need to make the measurements of your current volume. So let's say that you've taken the width times the length of the height. Let's say that this were my product, and mine was 10 by 5 by 2. So 10, my current volume is 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters by 2 centimeters. So my current volume is 100 centimeters cubed. Okay, and now what you need to do is set up a proportion. So mine was 100 centimeters cubed for 25 grams. So for 25 grams, if it's 100 centimeters cubed, how much is it going to be for how much volume, how much space is it going to take up if I have 200 grams of this product? Now, if your numbers are quite simple, you won't even need to use a calculator. You can do it in your head because this has got to be, oops, right? This one is, we multiply the 25 by 8 to get 200, so I can also multiply this by 8, right? So then I know it's got to take up 800 centimeters cubed of space. So the height no longer will be 2. The height will be times 8, so it will be 16 centimeters. Okay, so it really depends upon what you've got. If you've got a cracker, again, loose food, if you've got a cracker or something circular, it's a little bit easier to do. Okay, you can just measure the radius and then you can measure the height. And whatever your current height is, again, if it were 2 centimeters, you would multiply that by your scale factor to get your final height that you need. Okay. Again, this is only if you were going to be doing a cylinder or a sort of a cuboid or a rectangular prism. Okay, then it's a little bit easier. So these dimensions, these length, width, and height, these are what, or radius, if you have a circular piece, these are what need to go on the first slide under the box set presentation. Okay, so on the box set template, this is what needs to go on the first slide. What is the volume of my product? So length times width times height. Or if you have a cylinder, pi r squared times the height. Those formulas are on this little page that I've set up for you. Okay, pi r squared height. Okay, and then so also on this first page is what three-dimensional shape will your package take on. You need to write cylinder, rectangular prism, or whatever else you're going to be doing. And you're going to list out the dimensions. Now, the second page is a quick sketch of your package and its dimensions. So if this were my package could look something like this. Let's say I'm going to do a cylindrical tube. My package might look something like this. And you're going to want to use a ruler when you do this or use a program to sketch this out. And you could say, look, my radius was 3.5 centimeters for my cookie or my cracker or whatever I have. And my total height was 16, okay? However you would like to do that. Now, a little bit more difficult is the third slide. Okay, the third slide, you actually need to think about what does this look like when I lay it out flat, okay? It's gonna be a surface area net. So for this cylinder, my surface area net might look something like this, right? Where I have this piece here, and then I've got 2 circles showing my cylinder. Okay, and it's okay to use it's okay to use a program like this as well if you'd like for your drawings. And you are going to kind of perfect these later on before you turn your final project in. Okay, now, so with my surface area net, I also need to label all of the things. Oops. I need to label all of my dimensions again. So if I was thinking about my old tube, I said it was going to be 16. All right, now I'm losing the trackpad. I'll try to do it here. Okay, so if my old tube, if it was 16, my height, then that would be right here on the side. That would be my height. Okay, so that would be 16. And I could mark that. Oops, sorry, everybody. Trying to go through this quite quickly for you. Okay, so 16. Okay, my radius, I said, you know, you're gonna have to measure this on your own. 16 centimeters, make sure you put your units. My radius was about 3.5 centimeters. And in order to find this length, you're gonna have to use the circumference. Okay, so you need to look up the formula, right? What's the circumference around the outside of a circle? And in this case, it's 2 pi times our radius. And I could find out that it's about 22 something, I think, okay? So you also need to label this, and this will be your surface area net for the third slide. And all three of those slides need to be finished